Yes, this eventually turned into this. Let's check it out. Hey guys, and welcome back to TetraBitGaming. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know I'm a huge fan of video game prototypes, demo builds, and everything in between. So you probably wouldn't be surprised how happy I was that another set of awesome Game Boy Advance tech demos were acquired and dumped to the public last week by the lovely folks over at Forest of Illusion. And despite Mario Kart Super Circuit already being released on the Game Boy Advance for about 3 years by this time, one of these tech demos is of a Mario Kart project that never really got off the ground, Mario Kart XXL. And before we jump in, just want to give a shout out to G Fuel, who is a big supporter of this channel. So if you're interested in helping support the channel and stocking up or trying some G Fuel for the first time, code TETRA is boosted to 30% off your orders till the end of this month as I record this video. I really appreciate everyone that's been using my code, so yeah, thank you. So with that said, slap the like button down below for a free high five from Super High Res Mario here. Let's check out these newly found tech demos. Alright, now before we get ahead of ourselves and jump right into the Mario Kart Extra Large tech demo, the other demo that was acquired and dumped recently is actually its precursor, simply known as R3D Demo V1. I assume to mean Racing 3D or something. Now, both of the tech demos that we'll go over in this video were developed by Daenerys Entertainment Software, who I'm sure you remember from helping develop absolutely groundbreaking European exclusive titles such as Polly Pet's My Vet Practice, My Riding Stables Life with Horses, and of course, who could forget, Vicky und die starken Männer. Anyways, there aren't a whole ton of 3D games on the Game Boy Advance, and that's for good reason, I think. Most of them look like, yeah. But it looks like Daenerys Entertainment Software was wanting to develop a 3D kart racing game, and well, here we are. Now this tech demo is pretty unremarkable, even for around 2004 standards when it's believed this tech demo was built. When booting up the game, you're greeted to a pretty generic looking title screen, which is unsurprising for a tech demo, and then you have two options here, demo and play. These are both pretty self-explanatory. Demo lets you watch a demo of the gameplay, and play lets you play it. Figure that. When selecting play, you're then brought to a second selection screen where you get to choose your car. Either a red monster truck or a yellow drag racing car that, as you'd expect, drives a little bit faster. Then we're off to the races. Well, I guess it's not really a race since we're the only ones here, and it's not even a time attack or anything either, as the timer doesn't function in this build at all. And neither does this thing in the bottom right of the screen here, which I assume was meant to be a tachometer or something, but hey, at least they got the compass to work. Anyways, I guess we basically just get to free roam around in this industrial looking area that is really just a track that loops forever, whether you drive vertically or horizontally. I don't know, I guess you can't be too choosy with 3D graphics on the Game Boy Advance, but I don't think this looks very appealing at all. At least the music's good. The one thing that is kind of cool here though is that there's a distinct upper track where you drive on, as well as a lower area below, which does look pretty cool, I guess. And if you fall down off the track, boom goes the dynamite. The controls here are alright, I suppose, but since you can't really move the camera or anything, it can feel kinda wonky. Then next, surprisingly, when selecting the demo option on the title screen, although we don't get to choose our car this time as it just always defaults to the red monster truck, we actually get to see a second track here, which honestly I think looks even worse than the previous one. It just looks like a blob of a bunch of the same colors, not visually appealing at all. As this was, of course, the demo of this tech demo, here the camera rotates around and zooms in and out of the truck to really showcase the technical capabilities that this game could muster using the Game Boy Advance's power. It looks a bit better from afar, but when the camera zooms in really close like this, it's like, why? But, once again, just like the last track, the music here is pretty jammin'. Anyways, that's mostly it for this demo, and I guess not long after this, it appears that this tech demo was repurposed into Mario Kart XXL. Now, until just recently, the only real knowledge we had of Mario Kart XXL was footage from a very old video on YouTube where a fellow was playing the game on a GameCube Game Boy Advance player. And until now, this was one of the biggest unreleased pieces of Mario Lost media out there. Anyways, when booting up this game, we're greeted to a less generic title screen than the previous tech demo, as here we can actually see our pals Mario, Peach, Conky Dong, and Yoshi way back here in the distance. And if this background looks familiar to you, it should. This is actually the cover art for the then recently released Mario Kart Double Dash. Well, kinda. It actually appears that this background was heavily edited to remove all of the double aspects from Double Dash, as Luigi, Daisy, Diddy Kong, and even Birdo are all removed here. And funnily enough though, you can still see Luigi's leg here. It's kinda weird. Anyways, just like last time, here again we have the same two options on the title screen and they both do the same thing. Demo takes you to a demo of the game that follows Mario around the Donut Plains inspired track, and also just like in the previous demo, it rotates around Mario and zooms in and out to really showcase what this tech demo was capable of. Oh, would you look at that, the timer actually works here. This time, when selecting play on the main menu here, you don't get to choose a kart or character or anything, as you're just stuck playing as Mario. The controls here feel about just the same as the previous tech demo, but the visuals look infinitely better. And just like with R3D, the whole shtick here appears to be really contrasting the lower area with the upper track that you race on. It kinda works better here though, I think, and the track even has these cool windows that let you see below, which I think is pretty neat. This time, if you fall off the track, since I guess seeing Mario explode in a ball of flame like in the previous demo was probably too much, here instead you'll just splash into the water below. Or sand. Or grass. Yeah. And although there aren't any items here in this tech demo, which are one of Mario Kart's main features, there are actually coins found around the track, but unfortunately they aren't functioning or anything yet. Now, you might be wondering, why would a studio develop a Mario Kart tech demo for a console that already has a Mario Kart game that's been out for around 3 years? Well, apparently, Dinaris Entertainment developed this tech demo and actually pitched it to Nintendo of Europe to showcase their dynamic and adjustable perspective view engine in the hopes that Nintendo would be impressed enough to award their studio with a contract to develop the next Mario Kart game. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of Mario Kart Super Circuit, but I'd be struggling to say that this looks better than it, or even on par, despite it being 2D sprite-based and not even real 3D like these tech demos. And Mario's model also looks like one of those goofy Mario Kart knockoffs like Supra Mayrocrat or Logan Kart 8. And although the dynamic camera they were pushing is cool and all, this was like mid-2004, and I'm sure Dinaris had no way of knowing, but it's likely that the next Mario Kart game, Mario Kart DS, had already started its development process at this point, as within about a year of this tech demo, already some prototypes of Mario Kart DS were made. Now keep in mind, the Dinaris developers only helped develop a handful of games at this point, like CT Special Forces. So basically, this is like if a Call of Duty Roblox modder pitched a Call of Duty tech demo to Activision in the hopes to develop the next Call of Duty game. I mean, you gotta give them props for trying and going for gold, but yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise that they didn't get to make the next Mario Kart game. Now, obviously, nothing ever came of Dinaris pitching this title to Nintendo. But the story doesn't end here, as the studio actually acquired the license to another well-known, super popular, and beloved mascot. Yeah, it's Crazy Frog. Flippin' Crazy Frog. Now, if you didn't grow up around the mid-2000s, Crazy Frog was a crazy frog that starred in a bunch of songs and videos that got super popular around that time, with remix covers of songs like Axel F. Anyways, all of the development efforts of the tech demos that we've covered thus far lead to Crazy Frog Racer. Yes, this exists. And surprisingly enough, despite looking similar and reusing the number font for the heads-up display, this game didn't end up using the two-layer gimmick they were showing off so much in the tech demo, and the camera isn't very dynamic either, resulting in a pretty run-of-the-mill Game Boy Advance racer where you race on some incredibly bland and generic tracks. Well, it's not even run-of-the-mill really, it's pretty bad. But I guess some executive somewhere was like, hell yeah, a Crazy Frog kart racer for the Game Boy Advance is a fantastic idea. Ship it. And thus is the tale of the 3D car racer that turned into Mario Kart that turned into a Crazy Frog game, and I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you did, check out some of my other videos, and be sure to subscribe to find your way back here in the future. Oh, and if you'd like to check out these tech demos for yourself, I'll also leave a link for you in the description to the Forest of Illusion, where you can find them there. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by today, and I will see you in a bit.